brief video tutorial is going to demonstrate how to use a rubric to determine the score of the peers you will assess on the Google Docs assignment, or actually any assignment that you use a rubric to assess. In the left-hand column of the rubric are the components. These are the items that you're going to be analyzing. Out next to each component are the specific requirements related to that component. For example, for the component Part 1 document, there are 4 possible categories of student response. The first category is target, and it is worth 4 points. To earn target, a student must, in their Part 1 document, include all required components. They must have a table with photo and profile information. They must include a working link to their presentation. This means a URL that actually takes you to the presentation when you click on it. A working link to the form, and it must include the questions and answers. If a student didn't earn target, you then look to determine if maybe they earned acceptable, unacceptable, or missing. If the item is missing, you should assign a grade of 0. If the item includes most of the required components, including a table with photo and most profile information, a link to the presentation, a link to the form, and this could mean that maybe the link isn't working, but you can tell that the student did try and complete this part of it, and questions, then they could earn 2 to 3 points. You make the determination on the amount of points they earn. If they met most of these requirements, then you should give them a 3. If they met only a few of these requirements, then they would earn a 2. If they did not meet the requirements, then you look at unacceptable, which is worth 1 point. Does not include most of the required components, or any or most of the required components. So you look at that and you determine if that's the grade they made. Once you make the determination, what I like to do is indicate it on the rubric, and I'm going to do that by marking. So in this one, they got a target. When I went to question 1, parts A, B, and C, and D, after I reviewed their work, I determined that they scored an acceptable. When I looked at question 2, parts A and B, I determined that they scored target. You go on down through the rubric, scoring it as you go, making sure that you read the requirements and are very precise in your scoring. Okay, so I've scored every area of the rubric, and so now what I have to do is determine number of target points earned, number of acceptable points earned. Okay, so for each target they earned 4 points. So here's 1 target, 2 targets, 3, 4. So down here what I have determined is the student scored 16. Hang on 1 minute. It won't let me type for some reason, but the students earned 16 out of 32, so you would write that here. And then you would go and count the number of points for acceptable. And you would have to make the determination if they earned 2 or 3 points. You would add that up, put that here, and then add up the unacceptable points. Now, on this rubric, there is an additional area, and it's called above and beyond. And what this means is that students who went above and beyond the assignment requirements have the possibility of earning additional points. For this specific assignment, only those students who scored target on every component are eligible for the above and beyond points. So if one of the peers you assessed earned a target in every area, then, and if you If they indicated that they went above and beyond and gave you examples of what they did, then you would review their above and beyond components and determine if they earned 1 additional point or up to 3 additional points. You then calculate their final score, which is a combination of the unacceptable points, target points, acceptable points, and any above and beyond points to determine the final score. Again, remember, for this assignment, only those students scoring target on all components are eligible for the above and beyond points. One thing you might note is that you are required to use the rubric to determine the score. Simply going in and entering a perfect score without using the rubric is very likely to result in your instructor completing his or her own assessment, and if they find that you did not score the student in accordance with the rubric, you will then lose points on your assignment. So please keep that in mind. Hope this has been beneficial and you now understand how to use the rubric for scoring.